Hello Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another standard gameplay video, and today we are playing another discard deck with Monument to Endurance, but this time we are playing vehicle discard. So Monument to Endurance, if you don't know, we did play it on the channel in one of the first videos from Aetherdrift. It's a 3-mana artifact. It says whenever you discard a card, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn, draw a card, create a treasure token, each opponent loses 3 life. So it is important to realise as well that treasure token is not tapped. Wizards are doing a lot of tap treasure token creation at the moment, which kind of balances out. This one isn't. And also something else to be aware of, it is not whenever you discard one or more cards. It is, you get the trigger for each card you discard. So if you discard 3 cards at a go, you'll get all 3. Obviously you can only get 3 things at once. So sometimes it is worth waiting until your opponent's turn to potentially get these triggers again. And the idea is we get as many vehicles into our graveyard through cycling, and we create treasure tokens and draw cards with the monument, and then once we have 7 mana, we cast Push the Limit. 7 mana sorcery. Return all mounts and vehicles from the graveyard to the battlefield. Sacrifice from the end of the beginning of the next end step. Vehicles you control become artifact creatures. Creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. So basically it brings back all our vehicles. We don't have any mounts. They all become creatures and they all gain haste, so we can smash in. And obviously this is a great big finisher, and it sacrifices them as well at the beginning of the next end step. It doesn't exile them or put a finality counter on them, so in theory we can do this multiple times and get the same creatures back, but hopefully you only need to do it once. So what creatures are we getting, what vehicles are we getting into our graveyard? And we do have all vehicles with cycling, or good ones. So Clamorous Ironclad, we can cycle for 1 and it's a 6/3. Skybox Ferry, we can cycle for 2 and it's a 4/4. Detention Chariot, we cycle for 1 white and it's a 6/6. Thundering Broodwagon, we cycle for 2 and it's a 6/5. And Menace and Reach as well. Clamorous Ironclad also has Menace and Skybox Ferry has Flying. And then Valor's Flagship, we can cycle for X, 2 and a white, but generally 2 and a white because we don't really care about the pilot tokens. And when we do cycle it, we create X, 1/1 pilot tokens, and it has Flying, First Strike, Lifelink. And actually, we rarely cycle Valor's Flagship. We use ways to discard it anyway because 2 and a white is not the best. We are in Jeskai, so red, white, and blue. Obviously, we're not playing Thundering Broodwagon. We're not casting Thundering Broodwagon unless we have 4 treasures knocking around, so we don't really care about casting it. And next up, we just have ways to help discard. Kick-off Celebrations, 2 mana enchantment, has Start Your Engines. That's not relevant for us. But when it enters, we may discard a card if you do draw 2 cards. It's very you could easily play Bitter Reunion, which is a 2 mana enchantment that when it enters, you discard a card, draw 2 cards, and you can pay 1 to give all your creatures haste. I'm just playing this because it's new. Brass's Tunnel Grinder, legendary artifact for 3. When it enters, discard any number of cards and draw that many cards +1. So in theory, you could discard 0 and draw 1. Or, if we discard 3, we trigger all modes of Monument Endurance and draw 4. So that's really, really powerful. And at the beginning of your end step, if you discard this turn, descended this turn, which means you, a permanent went to a graveyard from anywhere, and obviously if we're discarding cards we put a bore counter on the Tunnel Grinder. Then if there are 3 or more bore counters, we remove those counters and transform it into Tekult Clan, the Searing Rift, taps to act red, and whenever we cast a permanent spell we discover X, where X is that spell's mana value, but we're not casting any permanent spells. And then 3 copies of Broadside Barrage, another new card, 3 mana instant removal, deals 5 to target creature or planeswalker, draw a card, then discard a card. So again, triggers Monument to Endurance, and lets us discard Valor's Flagship or one of our other things we might want to. And then Ill-Timed Explosion is our sweeper of choice. Draw 2 cards, then you may discard 2 cards. If you do, Ill-Timed Explosion deals X damage to each creature, where X is the greatest mana value among cards discarded this way. So it's great to discard Valor's Flagship, so it deals 7 to everything, or maybe a spare Push the Limit to deal 7, or even, Thundering Broodwagon is 6, Detention Chariot is 6, or, 3 if we need to. So land mana base is a bit whiffy. We have 1 plains, 1 island, 10 mountains, and then we have 4 of the blue-red Verge, 2 of the red-white Verge, because we don't really need white mana apart from maybe Detention Chariot, 2 Spire Bluff Canal, and then 2 Thundering Falls and 2 Elegant Parlor. With all our cycling, Savale lands are really good because it lets us see what's on top of our library. Maybe we want to put it in the graveyard anyway, or maybe we want to draw it so we can cycle, we know what we're drawing. So I really, really like this deck. It's basically a control deck, just throwing out removal that also does what we need to do while getting to the end game and then just smashing him with a huge board. the Ironclad and the Brood Dragon having Menace makes them very hard to block, and the fact that the Brood Dragon destroys a non-land permanent, mana value 4 or less when it enters, can clear out blockers, and the Sky Fairy having flying as well is really, really useful. It does fall down against other control decks. You know, if your opponent's just holding up mana for 3 steps ahead, or Spell Pierce, or Phantom Interference, it's pretty obvious sometimes you don't want to spend 7 mana and walk into a counter spell. It also obviously falls down against Graveyard Hate. A couple of games I played, our opponent played turn 1 Ghost Vacuum and there's no point continuing, or another one was turn 0 Leyline and the Void, which is really no point continuing because you just can't get everything in the graveyard. But it's pretty good against, well, obviously it's fantastic against Mill, and you'll see that in one of the gameplays. And it's pretty good against discard as well, because while we like drawing cards with our cycling, obviously the real bonus is getting it in the graveyard. So if our opponent can do it for us, fantastic. So really like this deck. I love Monument to Endurance. It is just such a powerful card, and I will be playing another deck soon based on a Spellslinger type deck where the aim is to kill our opponent with that each opponent loses 3 life, and it can add up very quickly. So stay tuned in for that one. But in the meantime, I'll see you all in the gameplay. Seriously, can we go first for once? Well, there's a monument. I would like some other coloured mana, please. Well, we are unfortunately now in a race.
I'm tired of your secrets.
Which I don't think we're going to get there, unfortunately. They make us discard. Oh, Mill.
We all have things we'd rather forget.
We will create a treasure. I think we Brass's Tunnel Grinder. Get rid of that. Create a treasure. Draw. 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, next turn we can do it. They can't play River Churn Monument and exhaust it this turn.
Emotions are distractions. Focus on the facts. All your hopes.
They've actually kind of done our jobs for us.
You won't be outsmarting me. This isn't how
Red. And yeah, our opponent's scoops, seeing as we had, well, we only had 3 cards left in our library, so I think we literally had every single thing in our deck. 4, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1. Oh, yeah, I think so. So it went as well as it can, I think. Well, we've got monument and a sweeper and a way to discard flagship. Second monument. Are they toxic as well? They do have to discard. Why are they looking at our monument? Have they got... I think Into the Fun was the only thing that could bounce them. Oh, it's Mill.
I'll take note of all your failures. The data required.
I think we draw... See, I don't particularly mind us being milled. And we can do things on their turn.
We can improve upon your ideas.
Let's take out Jace. Obviously, if they protect us, we don't really mind. Need one more land, essentially. Them saving Jace, I think it was a bit of an odd choice for them.
You can be made to obey.
Obviously, we'll try and broadside barrage Jace again. And see if they counter. They don't. We'll discard a land.
A minor setback to Phyrexia's plan.
We'll create a treasure. And let's draw. Well. Let's go for it. See what happens. I expect they have another 3 steps ahead. Yeah. Let's get rid of the 2 tap lands. Treasure. Draw. Treasure. Draw. And let's discard an ill-timed explosion. I think we cycle the Brood Wagon. Well, that means they've only got 1 mana. And if we create 2 treasures, we can pay for Spell Pierce if they're playing that. And yeah, they scoop. How many do we have in our graveyard? Thundering Brood Wagon. 2 of those. Clamorous Ironclad. 2 Clamorous Ironclads. Intention Chariot, Skybox Thrower, yeah. And obviously Valor's Flagship. Yeah, that is more than enough. Planning goes first, but we've got a lot of what we need. I'll always keep another push it to the limit. Or push the limit, sorry. We can cycle the ferry. Probably need to find some removal. Well, we'll play out the monument. And next turn, probably the tunnel grinder. On vampire, fair enough. Would love a sweeper. That's not a sweeper. Well, let's be greedy. And let's draw. See if we can find a sweeper. We can't. Okay, don't quite need 3 of them. Thing is, I think we are dead in a turn. Yeah, if we don't find a sweeper now, we are just done for. We need basically a treasure. No, we need 2 treasures, don't we? Yeah, we need 2 treasures for Monument. And let's draw another one. We will discard this ferry and then a kick-off celebration, I suppose. Obviously, they do still get a bat. And we will discard, I think, a band. They are at max speed. Let's cycle this. Treasure. Treasure. Let's cycle this. Draw. Draw. And I'll probably just cycle that on their turn, actually. We've got a decent amount of stuff. Treasure. Draw. And yeah, our opponent scoops. We broadside barrage then, and that will leave us with 1 treasure and 7 lands in our next turn, so we can take out their blocker and push the limit and get back. Well, actually, we didn't need to broadside the blocker because Thundering Broodwagon would kill it when it comes back. We go first. We do need another land, maybe Surveil for it, or we do have a lot to cycle. Do need blue land as well. Since we don't know what we're playing against, I think we pitch that for now. Hello, opponent. They can have a giddy up. There we go. Discard? Oh. Exile. Nuts. It's the monument, you know. If you don't take the monument, you're doing something wrong. Yeah. That is annoying. One mana as well is... we'll just Thunder and Falls. They've not shown us a creature. Well, let's see what they take. Probably all-time explosion. I don't want to cycle and draw into something better. Which I kept that broadside barrage now. Well, there is a monument. Yeah, I think we cycle that. Hopefully we don't have another deep cavern bat. That is a problem. It's fair, we have quite a lot down there. So, yeah, I'm going to do this now and get a couple of treasures. Oh, I should have done that at the end of their turn in case I have another deep cavern bat. Yeah, that was an upsie. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's draw then. And let's get another treasure. Well, let's do the thing. I think that's probably lethal. Seeing as a lot of our creatures have menace. We go first. Well, I suppose we can give this a go. We do have 2 things we can cycle. I think, yeah, we keep that for now. Let's surveil, see what is on top. I don't think we need that. And I'll just cycle at the end of their turn. Oh, late. Okay, that's... Monument is what we wanted. But obviously if I have Leyline and play it, then... that's also very annoying. We can cycle and then cycle again. The fact they put a ley line in the graveyard suggests to me they... Well, if they had one obviously in the open hand, it would have gone onto the battlefield. The stick will be Khan Silex, I imagine. Well, let's see if... Obviously, we can pay for Spell Pierce. Or a robbery. Chances are next turn with this ill-timed explosion. Yeah. Decline. But we can cycle the Broodwagon. And if we get another land, we have a pretty okay graveyard. 2 6/6s, a 4/4. We'll have Thundering Broodwagon. Oh, that's just taking the mick. Well, seeing as we have 3 push the limits. Go on, mill me. Do they have another counterspell? They do have a Risen Reef. Mill.
Flesh. I know where to find all the answers.
Well, we have all 4 of them. Opponent goes first, but we do have some things to cycle. Double green. We'll just play the elegant parlour for now. Against green, I don't think we'll need another one. Oh, it's a Bristly Bill deck. Well, I think we do this now. Take out the Bloomkin. We'll just pitch a Plains. And then we can ill-time explosion and pitch the Broodwagon. That's a lot of lands. Next turn we just carry on cycling the Broodwagon, depending on what they play out, of course. Right, well, let's do that one more time. Wow, okay. Well, there is a monument. switch, I think, for kick-off celebrations. And we will create a treasure token. And I think we cycle the Ironclad at the end of their turn, create another treasure token. And that should let us push the limit and get quite a lot of stuff back. And that should be game. Is that 30? Yeah, 30. Hello Magic fans, and welcome back to a very quick wrap up. So as I said in the deck, I really like this deck. It's really powerful against a lot of things in the meta. I didn't actually play against, any of the bounce decks, and it can fall down against that because bouncing Monument to Endurance is kind of annoying. But Monument to Endurance is basically just, it's a bonus. You know, we're drawing so many cards from our cycling, we can get up to 7 mana quite easily just with lands. We are playing the full 24 contingent of lands, so you know, Monument Endurance, create treasure tokens and draw cards is really good, but it's not the be all and end all. And if we get to a stage where, yeah, we can just play a push for limit with lands, we can still smash in and win. And you know, a lot of their things are like bouncing Hopeless Nightmare, which we want to get cards in our graveyard, so that's great. Or you know, Momentum Breaker or Tithing Blade, and we don't play creatures, so that's not an issue either. So that's it's quite good against that in theory. Also didn't play against any of the red aggro decks. Played against a white aggro deck, and this is a deck that if you a white-black like vampire aggro deck. If you can stabilize, you know, if you can get to a place where you can wipe the board, trigger Monument Endurance, you're in a good place. And then because we're drawing so many cards through the cycling, through Monument Endurance, through our removal spells, actually it's quite easy to get through your deck and find your pusher limits and other things you might need. So it is, if you can survive the early game, it then can take over games quite quickly as well. So really powerful. As I said, really enjoy this deck. I think it's fantastic. It's not the best, but it's quite fun to play. It's also a bit different. So hope you'll enjoy it too, and I'll see you all in the next video.